Welcome to our live stream, The Exhaustion of Being the Strong One. My name is Buffy. If you haven't met me before, welcome. Happy to have you here. Being the strong one sounds like a compliment until no one checks on you. Welcome, Kathy. Welcome, Trudy Singer. And at some point, you realize you don't even know how to not be that person. You don't know how to not check up on people, how to make sure that people are okay, because you know what it's been like when you haven't had people check on you. So you want to be there for other people. You want to show support. You want to show compassion. You want to show love. Welcome, MT Seamer. And that can be kind of an issue dealing with that too. Let's talk about defining the role of the strong one, what it means. The strong one is usually the person who doesn't complain. They do whatever's asked of them without complaint, without frustration, because that is the role that they've been known as. They've been known as the mentally strong person. They've been known to be able to have a capacity that is stronger and larger than most people. Where most people would crack, this person is like, hey, give me more, give me more, give me more. I can take it. I can do it. I'm capable. I'm strong. I'm determined. I have the ability to do this. And then they handle everything. They handle affairs that really have nothing to do with them, right? They're the ones who you call and say, you know what? I need to be moved out of my apartment in 3 days. Can you help me? That is going to be the person that is going to do it for you. But the thing that's really sad about the strong role is the fact that that person generally does not have anyone else that they can call when they have to move out of their apartment in 2 or 3 days, right? Because they're constantly giving. And at some point, that can cause potential resentment in them. That can make them feel like, why is it that I'm giving all of this to other people and no one's really giving to me? Why am I always, when I need someone, there's no one there? How is that right? How is that fair? Right? And then they support every single other person. But when it comes time for them to be supported, there's really no one there. And that can feel lonely. That can feel isolating. That can feel unfair. Um, And also, that person generally doesn't ask for much in return because they have learned that when they need something, other people are generally not there for whatever reason. Maybe because they don't want to be there. Today, we're talking about, if you're just joining us, the exhaustion of being the strong one. If you can relate with this role, then you know. You know how lonely it can be, you know how hard it can be, you know how much effort you put in, and you really don't receive a lot of the similar effort that you give, which is really unfortunate. It's almost like a one-sided relationship. And ultimately, much as the strong people give to other people, hello, welcome, this old helmet. Um, as much as you give to other people, you would expect just a little bit of reciprocation. Not that you're demanding it, not that you're wanting, it's that you want it, of course, but is it going to happen? That's the thing. It's always like people are very quick to ask you, as the strong person, what you can do for them. Maybe you have an advanced degree, maybe you're an accountant. It's like, hey, could you check out my taxes? Or maybe you're some other professional doing professional thing, and it's like, hey, I really can't pay you today, but could you do this for me? And of course, because you're like, oh, for a friend, sure. And then you realize, you look back, it's kind of a lonely existence, because it's like a lot of people are reaching out to you, asking you for free when that's your livelihood, right? And it's not that you're selfish. It's not that, you're a bad person. It's that you want some reciprocation there. And how it usually starts. This usually starts early because families realize who the strong person is, who the workhorse can be, and where you're realized, right? Other people needed you, or it wasn't safe to need others. So you became the reliable one. You became the one who answered the phone at midnight. You became the one who, somebody's car broke down, so you're there, like fixing their broken tire. You're there trying to pick up the pieces. Somebody's going through a really emotional situation, or their dog died, or any number of things. You're the one that's there. And let's talk about the hidden cost of being the strong one. The problem is when you're always the strong one, and let me know if you all relate to this, people stop checking on you because you're strong, right? You don't need help. You're the one that helps everybody else. Why would you need help? There is something called compassion fatigue, and that is where you give so many things to so many people that you literally are burnt out. A lot of mental health professionals go through that. A lot of therapists go through that. Doctors go through that. Dealing with bad and sad news and difficult things, that can cause you to be fatigued from all the compassion and all of the heavy lifting that you're doing. It may feel like you're just helping someone out, but ultimately you're doing more than that. And when you continue to have people, hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do this for me? And sometimes it may even be your parents or your grandparents or any number of relatives, because they know you're the reliable one. And when you're the reliable one, the other thing that often happens is you help these people out of the goodness of your heart, and then something goes wrong, and inevitably it's your fault, right? Well, you screwed up. You didn't do things right. Why did you do this to me? You really affected me in a negative way. So it's almost like a double-edged sword, right? They didn't pay you, not saying that they have to. That's a arrangement between the both of you. But ultimately, it can come down on, well, this person screwed up. And then it causes a divide or division in the family. And then your needs get minimized, right? People don't want to acknowledge what you've done for them. They want to acknowledge what you haven't done for them. And so, hello, Derry, Janik, welcome, Lena. Hi. Um, so you have this moment where you're putting in all this effort, and then there's people who are like, more, 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 more. At some point, you have to set some sort of boundaries for yourself, because if you don't set boundaries, people are not going to respect their own boundaries. They're going to keep asking, will you keep giving? And that doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make them a bad person. It means they're doing what they need to do, they think, to keep themselves going. And so that ultimately can be something that can be really exhausting and really frustrating, and making you feel used and manipulated and not valued. And ultimately, if these people aren't saying to, thank you for what you're doing, is there something I can do for you? That's a very one sided relationship that can cause resentment at certain points and cause a breakdown in relationships, and make you feel like you're being used and ignored and treated like a commodity rather than an actual person who has feelings and hopes and has issues going on with them too. And that's only fair, right? I mean, ultimately, thank you for this. Thank you, Lynn. Is it Lynn Gamer? Thank you, Lynn Gamer. Appreciate you. Um, and you don't even notice how exhausted you are, because a lot of people, especially givers, generally give until they can't give anymore. And at one point, they hit that wall, and they're going to hit that wall hard, especially if they have a lot of people who are looking up to them and wanting them to help them. It can be difficult to say, no, I can't help you today. Like, I'm really not feeling well. And then somebody's going to say, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't know anybody else that can do what you've done. And then you're like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Also, I want to do a quick note, guys. I do have two podcasts. One is Recovering Perfectionist Mama, Grace in Progress. It's on YouTube, dealing with similar topics as this: perfectionism, fake niceness, topics that may be of interest to you. And then the other one is a true crime podcast called Grace and Gavel, Where Truth Meets Compassion. I'm an almost 18-year criminal defense attorney. And so I talk about things, cases you may know: Scott Peterson, Susan Smith, Darley, some of those cases, Zodiac Killer, things like that. So just dropping that in there. But yeah, and you don't even notice how exhausted you actually are. Let's talk about the identity trap. And then it becomes your identity. You're the strong one. You're the one who everyone else counts on. If you fall apart, what's going to happen to those people? Like, you wonder that. You're like, if I'm not here for them, Like when their cat dies or when their dog dies or some other catastrophic thing happens, like who's going to help them? Like I literally have to be the person that helps them. And so it's almost like you're carrying all of these people like on your shoulders. And if that's not pressure, I don't know what pressure is because that is a lot. I personally am in a scenario where one of my parents constantly is counting on me and wanting me to help. And I mean, I don't mind to help, but at some point, like, I mean, I have 5 children. I have a spouse. I have things that I've got going on as well, work and everything else. Trying to teach my kids and all this other stuff, and so it can be a lot. And it's really hard for me to say, no, I really can't. Like, I mean, I've helped you with your last few resumes. Like, I can't today. Like I've got things going on. I've got, I'm helping someone with a campaign and got all this stuff going on, and it's just kind of can snowball. And then you feel guilty for saying no. That's another perfectionism trait where you don't like to say no because you don't want people to think that you don't like them. You don't want people to think that you hate them in some way or you don't want to help them. I love to help people as much as anyone, to be honest with you. I mean, I think I think we should all do our best to try to help others. But at some point, what do they say when you're on a plane? Make sure that you put your face mask on first. Because if you don't put your face mask on first, you're not going to be help to anyone. Your kids, your spouse, anyone around you. And I think that that is like a good way to kind of look at how things shake out, you know. And if you're not the strong one, then who are you? What is your identity? And it's really sad that these roles like are literally fitted for you at a young age and you can't escape that. You're always going to be the one who's the strong one. You're always going to be the one that shows up. But then you wonder at what point are other people going to want to be reliable and dependable and helpful? When are they going to step up? But a lot of them are thinking, hey, they're the strong one. They're the one that's supposed to show up at all the time. I'm good. My role is not that. I'm the peacemaker, or I'm the difficult one. So I'm not I'm the black sheep. I mean, I don't have to show up for anything. I just come to family dinners and say, where am I sitting? Where's my plate? You know? So let's talk about the reframe. You weren't strong, you were consistent. And people recognize consistency, especially people who don't want to be consistent, especially people who don't want to help others, right? You literally are letting them off the hook, right? You may be okay with that, and that's fine. You may be like, or you may be the kind of person who has the can do attitude. Hey, I can do it. I don't care. It's no problem for me. I mean, I've been doing it all this time. Like, what's the big deal? You know, people expect that from me. That is my role. Maybe you have a sense of pride in that. And there should be a sense of pride because you know what? Reliable people, consistent people, kind people, those are my people. Those are a lot of people's people. If you are that type of person, you should be proud of yourself. But you should also engage in self care to protect yourself and set boundaries because if you don't set boundaries, no one else is going to. I wonder how many of you have actually had people show up to your house at like midnight or 1 a.m. Hey, this happened. What do I do? Oh, were you sleeping? Thank you, Daryl, Jank. Appreciate it. So were you sleeping? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb your sleep. I'm sorry. I'll leave now. And then it's like, of course they know you're not going to say, oh yeah, go ahead and leave now. That's fine. That's good. So there is a difference. There is a difference between strong and being consistent. Both of them are good, but strong sometimes gets you almost in kind of a test of wills. Like, how strong is this person? Right? Are they going to break at some point or are they strong enough to not break? And so let me say this another way ultimately. It is a privilege to be a person. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it. Um, you are allowed to be strong. You are allowed to be bold, but you also are allowed to say, look, I'm sorry, I can't today. I want to I want to help you. I really do. But at this time, like there's, and I struggle with that too. I'll be honest. I hate saying no because I feel like saying no is a failure. I feel like I am saying to someone, like I'm literally slapping them across the face. You know what I'm saying when I say no? Like I don't want to help you. Like I don't like you, or it's kind of like it's saying that. It's almost like admitting failure in a way. You know. So in closing, guys, I want to say you're allowed to need support too. Being strong doesn't mean being alone. So please, if you need help, reach out to someone. You deserve support too. Being strong doesn't mean you have to handle every single struggle on your own, right? It doesn't mean that. It means when you need help, seek help from someone that will actually help you. And don't feel guilty about it because guess what? They've been leaning on you for years. So I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Just so you know, I've been going live different times. I need to kind of get a schedule down here, nailed down so that you all know. But I do TikTok and I do Instagram lives. And I thank you all for tuning in. It means a lot to me. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And hopefully you'll come back and see me again soon. I generally post on recovering_perfectionist_mama. And I mentioned like when I'm going live right now. I'm going to try to figure out a schedule, promise, hopefully sooner rather than later. So thank you so much, guys. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.